All right. Hello, 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 everyone. Um, I'm going to just kind of wait a little bit. I know we're a bit late. My computer was acting up a little bit again and just kind of taking long to load up. So I figured I'd just come on my phone. But we are live, and I just want to give people time to get on. And I know you guys have been waiting. Sorry for the wait. Um, but it is well worth it because I have a special guest tonight, and he's really going to help us um, with understanding our God-given unalienable rights. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some debt discharge. He did a video in the past talking about debt discharge and how to eliminate your debt, and also how to become, I believe, a state sovereign. I believe that's the phrase, where you actually get out of the system. You detach from the system, this matrix. All right. And so he's going to talk a little bit about that. But let me know who's watching. Jamie, good to have you on. Hello to you. Blessings to you. Good to have you on. And we're waiting for some others. Let me know where you guys are watching from. And I'm going to bring in my guest in a little bit. I just want to give people some time to hop on. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Share this video. This is going to be a good one. This is really going to be a good one. I believe we're going to get some information that's really going to help us within our finances and help us to be able to detach from this matrix, because we're going in that direction anyway. The way things are going, I think there's going to be freedom where we all become, we really truly become we the people, and we really truly become um, people with God-given rights, and not just um, you know different rights and policies and gimmicks that the government would try to throw on us. But we need to know our rights. We need to know what the rights that we have, what we can do to be able to be free from this whole uh, shenanigans, whatever you want to call it, because the way the world is now, the way this government is going, the way they are deceiving us, the way they are just kind of holding us back is really uncalled for. So we're going to get into this. This is going to be good. I want to introduce my special guest, Pastor Brian Betzworth. He's out of Pennsylvania, which is not too far from me. Of course, I'm in South Jersey. And so, Brian, we've met a while ago um, through another friend of our prime minister, and which hopefully he's doing good. I haven't seen or talked to him in a while. So, Prime, if you're watching this, reach out to me. But I thank God that we were able to connect, Pastor Brian and I, and he has a lot of knowledge, a lot of truth, and we're going to talk about some of the things that he knows, and much more. And I'm probably going to have him come back because he has so much knowledge, and I'm sure you all going to have so many questions as well for him. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on now so we can get into this. Pastor Brian, how you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm well. Thanks. Good day and God bless.
Oh man, blessings to you. It's an honor to be able to have you on. I know it's been a while, and we've been kind of busy, just kind of lately with different changes and things that have been taking place. But you know what? Somehow God always brings us back around and keeps us connected. And
Amen. We're both fighting the good fight. Amen.
Yes, yes, we are, and we're trying to help others to really last in that fight of faith. Because keeping the faith is a hard thing. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
There's so many people who are seeing what's going on and they're not understanding, and they're like, "Why is this? Why is that? What is going on?" So here on my live stream, I love to share, um, especially what's going on spiritually, what God is doing behind the scenes. Giving people hope and truth and information, so that we can be free. Jesus said, "Look, I'm the way, the truth, and the life." And so,
Yeah.
if we go through the way of Christ, who is the truth, and we listen to him, and we abide by what he says and live by what he says and what he shows us, then we can stay in freedom. So,
Yeah. Amen. You know, I had a real interesting encounter this morning at the barber shop. I
uh,
went to get my hair cut, and the barber was talking about the weather and all. And we talked about, oh, it'd be nice to go to Florida in the winter time. Oh, but it's hard to make any kind of arrangements like that these days.
yeah,
And he
yeah.
said, yeah, he said, did you hear what they said? You know, the what the UN is doing this weekend and what the German chancellor said about
Mm,
uh, we're going to have an event that all of us will remember for the rest of our lives this weekend. And he
mm,
said, I'm on high rapture watch, he said.
yeah,
And he started going into Yom Teruah, the Feast of Trumpets coming up this
yeah,
week.
yes.
No, also known as Rosh Hashanah,
Yes.
you know, which signals the second coming of Christ in the clouds and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I there's a lot going on in the crypto markets and the
Yes.
great reset and all that. So we
Yeah.
really got to kind of be on our toes and try to be aware of anything we can do to
Mm-hmm.
give ourselves better status and standing
Yeah. Yeah.
in the legal system and the law when this happens, if we're going to survive in this world, or hopefully we'll all be taken up with Jesus. Amen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's funny because I've been hearing that for the past couple of weeks that there's supposed to be some events that's supposed to take place this weekend. Which is I guess the 23rd or 24th, for
Right.
people are throwing dates out there. So
Mm-hmm.
and what was said is that something may happen because this is usually a time where on the other side of things, evil tries to do different rituals and all kinds of other stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
they're saying it might be something that happened, but we'll see. We'll pray about it, and hopefully, like you said, it could be an encounter where Jesus just catches us up.
Mm. I'm ready.
Hey, I'm ready as well, man. And see, and that's my prayer is that everyone else is ready, and that we all can just really experience God and just really grow and be changed. Just to really help others to wake up and go forth. But Pastor Brian, listen, I know you haven't been on my live stream for a while, but I want to reintroduce you to the people. We've had a lot of new subscribers lately,
Great.
and probably a lot of people don't know who you are, but I want you to talk about who you are and how you've gotten your start and just in ministry and wanting to be able to serve the people.
Amen. Well, I was called by God to go into the ministry when I was just about 50 years old,
Wow.
and was not expecting it, but he sure has a way of letting you know that it's his way or the highway. The highways and the
Yes.
byways. And I don't know, he just gave me a real desire to do it. And I went to seminary and ended up being an evangelical church pastor for the past 10 years
Okay.
up here in central Pennsylvania, coal country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm originally from the Chicago area, so this was a culture shock for me. And I said, really, God? All right, well, I'll do what you say. And that was a huge blessing. I was with a couple uh, older evangelical churches who needed somebody to help them kind of complete their journey, and it was a blessing. They both ended up closing or merging earlier this year,
Okay.
and along the way, though, I started realizing, that we are in this world, but not of this world.
Yes.
But we
Yes.
still have to learn how to survive and thrive while we're here.
Right.
And we got to help ourselves, or we can't hardly help anyone else, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I always knew something was wrong. In my earlier life, I did have some legal issues. And so I was trying to find out how to deal with some of those things. I started realizing there's something wrong here. The law and the legal system doesn't work the way it's supposed to. The government seems to think that we're their subjects and slaves, not the other way around like it's supposed to be.
Right, right.
And I went down long rabbit trail and started learning a lot. I ended up changing my status and standing in the law, becoming a secured party creditor. So I'm now a private American, no longer a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen slave debtor, now a secured party creditor.
Right, right.
You could refer to the status as an American national or a state citizen, but not a U.S. citizen, as again set up by the 14th Amendment.
Right, right.
And so I started a YouTube channel, which is called Unalienable. And I've got the program we did before up on that channel too. So you can just on YouTube here search for Unalienable, and you'll find it. I've got a website called unalienable.online. And yeah, I've been, I took some time off, but I've been back at it a lot here lately. And I guess you saw one of the recent shows I did on discharging debt, student loans, and the like.
Yes, that was really, really good because, a lot of people, they talk about that. And before we get to that, I want you to go back and talk more about being a state national, because I think that's very important. And then we'll talk about the whole debt discharge, because that was very interesting. I've heard a lot about what you've been talking about. I heard about that type of stuff in the past, like, your birth certificate and all that stuff, being having an account number, all those things. But it's like in the past, people were actually getting locked up for trying to do those things and trying to become, state nationals and things like that. I'm talking about back in like, the Obama days and before, because the country wasn't allowing people to get that type of information. They didn't want people to have that type of information. And so now that we're in a point where things are getting much better, and, this is the direction that we're going into, I think a lot of people need to know about this so that they can have that opportunity. But definitely share. I want you to share a little bit more about that. What is a state national, and how people can get information to, become that? Because I know you help people with that.
Yes, a state citizen, a citizen of the state that you were born in and or live in, because the United States of America, small u, United States of America, was the original country set up by the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation. Okay.
Yes.
And those are still in effect. Those are still law. The U.S. Constitution was really set up as a way for this new fledgling group of 13 states, which were really 13 separate countries, nation states, loosely bound together. And really, they still are in their original sovereign status. But the Constitution was really set up as a way for this fledgling nation to handle their debt that they had and accrued through the Revolutionary War and other things. It was also set up as a way to be able to deal with other countries, and it was set up to really try to keep this government that was starting to form under control. Okay. And it's still supposed to have very tight restrictions on what the government can and cannot do. All
Okay.
right. It's a really long story about how it happened, but basically, the war between the states back in the 1860s, also known as the Civil War,
Yes.
really caused a lot of things to happen. Um, Things were going the wrong way. It was really a war about states' rights.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was this new federal government trying to form, and a number of the states said, no, we're not going to do that. And there ended up being a war.
Mm-hmm.
Slavery was a major issue in it, but not until really about halfway through the war, it really became an issue. Um,
Okay.
Now, after the war, the 14th Amendment was instituted, which was a way to try to incorporate these new people who had been slaves
Mm-hmm.
into the country to give them some kind of rights. Okay.
Okay.
Some had been born here, some had not. But they wanted to give them some sort of status, legal status. And so they developed something that they called a US citizen. There was a corporation formed called the United States, United States of America, all capital letters. And there was Act of 1871, which established the District of Columbia
Mm-hmm.
as a new federal government. Okay, and this country started operating as a corporation,
Right.
not the original country. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the 14th Amendment, again, was a way to bring people in who had no rights. And it was well intentioned to begin with, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it gave the country a lot of control over them. The government did. And it said that they would be subject to Congress, not the other
Mm-hmm.
way around, you know.
Right.
Um, and basically, they found they had a good thing, and they slowly started convincing all the people that they could be US citizens,
Mm-hmm.
giving them more power over us. Because the original people in this country, the founding fathers, none of them ever were US citizens. They were Americans, they were
Right.
Pennsylvanians,
Right. Right.
they were Virginians. You know, they were not US citizens until after the Civil War and this 14th Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it goes on and on. We could talk about it for a long time, but basically that changed the people's status and standings, and we became persons or legal entities, legal fictions, if you were, um, and no longer than real people. Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. So it's again, it's a long story, but we they decide, you mentioned the birth certificate.
Yeah.
That became a way in the early 1920s where government realized they could have the people registered,
Mm-hmm.
um, and basically become property of the government. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you get a birth certificate, it's on bonded paper.
Mm-hmm.
It is basically a title to you. It's a certificate of title to you, to your body, to your energy, to everything you basically own and can do.
Right.
Sort of look at it like a certificate of title for your car, for your
Right. I was
automobile.
just thinking
It's
that.
Yeah, it's very much the same, and they use that to create a straw man. And I just put up a real short little video on my Unalienable channel called Meet Your Straw Man.
Okay.
Um, You might want to go there and look at it. It's just a few minutes. It's a cartoon. It's really good.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it's made
Okay.
the rounds, but I was talking about that and the discharging debt and becoming a an American national and not
Okay.
a U.S. citizen. It's basic information that people need to understand
Right.
to start moving down this
Mhm.
road. But yes, the birth certificate basically helps them create a trust
And
in.
I, you know what? And just, I'm sorry to interject, but
Mhm.
I heard that the Queen had Queen Elizabeth had a lot to do with, I guess, our birth certificates and keeping track of, everybody through their birth certificate. I believe she was like one of the head or the head over, all that had to do with people's birth certificates to track them and all that.
Oh, well, yeah, the Crown of England
Okay.
and the City of London.
Hmm.
Basically, it's a three-headed monster, and it's a long way you could go into that too. But the
Hmm.
three-headed monster, as I call it, would be the Bank of England. No, the City of London, the
Okay.
financial head of this world. The Vatican,
Hmm.
really, who believes that they own every man, woman, child on this planet
Hmm.
and their souls.
Wow.
Um, and then the District of Columbia is the military might and the state
Okay.
of the cabal, you could call it.
Right.
And they all work together in that. In fact, one of the things I'm going to be putting up on my channel soon is how the Vatican got to that place where they think that they own everything and everybody. Um, Pope
Wow.
Boniface VIII, I think, declared a papal bull called Unum Sanctam, which is the first trust of the world, where he claimed
Okay.
everything. And it included the UK and some of the power that they had there. And you could really go down that a long way. I'll put
Yeah.
something up about that on my channel and my website here soon, too.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, the Queen was involved in that loosely. I
Mm.
don't know exactly how much she knew and controlled that recently, but it's the Crown of England, really,
Right.
not so
Right.
much the individual so-called monarchs.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I heard you say, you talk about in your video that you and people can reach out to you through your website and everything to
Yes.
get help and mentorship and how to become a national, and also how to uh, learn how to discharge your debt
Hmm.
um, through your birth certificate and all those things. Give us a glimpse of how that would happen, and what you would do to help people to be able to discharge their debt.
Okay. Well, I mentioned a trust, and we talked about the birth certificate and how parents kind of unwittingly give their children over to the state and the federal government through registering them.
Yes.
And the birth certificate comes out, which is a title to them, and the government sets up a trust or an estate, all right, a legal name trust, your all capital letters legal name.
Hmm.
And they use that. Um, they use that to finance almost everything that they do in this country. And basically, what you need to do is to reorganize that legal name trust from
Hmm.
a constructive trust that they set up without notifying anyone to an express trust where you say, hey, I've learned about this. I see that when it was set up, I was given the right to take control of this when I was turned 18, but I never knew about it. You never
Hmm.
told us. That's fraud. And so here I am recreating the trust and making myself trustee. And there's a process that you can go into.
Okay.
Basically, copyright your all capital letters legal name, um, and go through a process that you will record through the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code,
Hmm.
to be able to send your state and the federal government and other entities notices that you've done this and
Hmm.
taken back control of your life, that you are not this legal name that they try to identify you as. That's
Right.
just a legal fiction. I'm a living man.
Right.
And basically, it allows you to legally separate yourself from that trust so that you can continue doing business with them and the banks and everything through that. But it takes a lot of the legal um, issues off of you. You
Hmm.
won't be so as accountable, and they can't control you
Right.
nearly as much anymore.
Right. Right.
And again, there's a long process of how that happened. Um, the thing that allows the debt discharge basically happened back in 1933 after the sort of fabricated market crash of 1929. And President Roosevelt, when he came in, declared a banking emergency,
Mm.
and they instituted an emergency act,
Okay.
which allowed them to basically take control of all of the people as persons
Mm.
and start using us and everything we have to finance the government. They
Wow.
had become bankrupt again, basically.
Right.
This country has gone through a series of bankruptcies about every 99 years or so. It happens. No, it's every 70 some years. I can't remember exactly. The last one was 1999 when it happened.
Right.
Um, 9/11, 2001
Hmm.
was something that they did to us, not Muslim terrorists.
Hmm.
It was an inside job, and we just recently did a program about that on our Unalienable channel.
Now,
It,
did that have something to do with finances? Because I hear a lot. We
oh
did
yeah,
the show with the Lord, and we were pulling up all kinds of information how that had a lot to do with the financial reset, which was the good reset that was trying to be stopped, and all these things.
yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, that was behind it, and there was a lot of gold there in
Yeah.
the World Trade Centers. Um, at the Pentagon, they had just realized that there's something, 2 point some $1 trillion of
Wow.
money from the budget disappeared. And that was announced the day before 9/11. And
Wow.
then the Navy Intelligence Office in the Pentagon that was investigating it was the exact spot that got hit by a cruise missile then on
Mm.
9/11.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's it's a bad story too. Um, People
Yeah.
need to realize what really happened there. It's 21 years later, and the majority of Americans still believe the story they told us
Right.
and the wars
Right.
that we went into for other nefarious purposes.
Mhm.
And that's another long thing we could talk about too. But we did do a program about that a little over a week ago.
Okay.
If you'd like to go see that on Unalienable.
Nice. Nice. Well, that's good. That's really good information to know because you know I hate when people are deceived, and we can people can easily be deceived based on what they watch on TV. mainstream media, as what we see right now is being very much torn apart right now. Thank God. But
Oh, yeah, it's
you
looking
know,
that way.
it's kind of looking that way, and
Yeah.
it's time. I think it's time for the truth. It's time that people know the truth,
I've
about
got
what's
a
really going
video
on.
all about that too, and how that happened on my Unalienable channel. It's called Mockingbird Media.
Yes. Yeah.
How the government got control of that in
Hmm.
this country, and how it's been used as their propaganda arm for
Hmm.
so long.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I actually presented that in church.
Wow.
And there was a presentation that I did,
Okay.
and kind of surprised some people there. But I let them know. I mean, they were talking every week about the things in the news and how things were going so crazy here recently. And
Yeah.
so I kind of did a little series in church about some of this stuff.
Okay.
Caught them off guard a bit, but they did appreciate the fact that their pastor was willing to come out and share some truth about that. So
Yeah.
that would be another interesting video for someone to go watch on Unalienable channel, is Mockingbird Media. Help
Yes.
explain some of what happened there.
Yes. And I have Pastor Brian's YouTube channel, the web site that you can put into your browser, excuse me, and be able to get to his YouTube page. I will also put it in the description as well, because he has quite a lot of wealth of knowledge, which he is sharing on these videos. And we'll definitely, man, we got to do this more often, because I know it's so much more, um, to when you're learning about uh, becoming a national, becoming a state citizen. Um,
Hmm.
I like to call it disconnecting uh, from Great Babylon, or
Right.
disconnecting from the Matrix.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
You
when
change your status and your standing
yeah,
back to one of we the people,
yes,
basically, one of the sovereign people of this country.
hmm,
Um, get out of the corporation that's
yeah,
corrupt and running everything and trying to take everything for themselves now.
and that's actually bankrupt as well, right?
$30 trillion or so. Yeah, I'd say. Hmm.
Oh man, it's just a lot. But we need this information. We need more of this information, and we need more pastors and leaders to be able to talk about, you know,
Yeah.
these.
There's another good video on my channel that I would point you to. Another guy who was a guest on there 2 times.
Okay,
His name is Kelby Smith, and
okay,
he has a ministry called His Advocates.
mm, okay,
Hisadvocates.org. He helps people do these things also.
wow,
Um, one of the programs that we did is called Becoming a State Citizen,
okay,
because he and his ministry actually do take people through one of the processes to do that. It's a
okay,
slightly different process than what I did. I worked with another firm called UCL, and I'm happy to connect anyone with them who's interested. But
okay,
he did very well, and he talked about becoming a state citizen and
mm,
how you can change your status and status standing that way. He
mm,
also came back and we talked about the church in another program, among other things,
yeah,
but how most churches are, corporations,
mm,
registered 501c3
yeah,
government corporations,
yeah,
when we really shouldn't be. And that
mm,
was an interesting conversation too. Um, but the way I've gone was slightly different from what he did. Becoming a secured party creditor,
mhm,
and an American national. It does make you a state citizen.
mhm,
Um, a private American, really. It takes you out of the public commercial matrix, as you called it,
Mm-hmm.
and helps you have your unalienable rights
Yeah.
as endowed upon you by your creator, just
Mm-hmm.
like it says in the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
And I will do another program before too long also about the secured party creditor
Yeah.
process, a little more detailed. It is very in-depth and detailed process as you go through, but it sets it up so that it's almost ironclad,
Mm-hmm.
and it really protects you a lot.
Okay.
Um, then you can use that status and standing to be able to discharge some of your debt through the government. Um, because again, that act that they did in 1933 by taking all of the people's gold,
Mm-hmm.
by setting up a process to register all people and all new children, to being able to use them as sureties and collateral for all the government's debt. That's what they
Mm-hmm.
did to us.
Wow.
Um, that in itself would be like theft and treason, right?
Mm-hmm. Pretty
Um,
much.
yeah, and it really is. However, they did give themselves an out by setting up a process that any one of us can use to access the, this account, this trust that they set up for you to discharge debt through.
Mm.
Now, they don't tell you that in school or any other way, but it
Right.
is published in the law, or at least in the
So there is
US
a
code.
trust that is set up for us to be able to
Yes.
discharge debts.
Yes. And about that, I'll say quickly, because a lot of people do ask me about it. Well, how can I get my money that's in that trust? Or
That's the first
how
thing I ask.
can I spend that? Or isn't my birth certificate worth $100 million or something?
Right.
And just to briefly say about that, um, no, there's not really money in there that you can access. There's no real money anymore.
Yeah.
That was gold and silver as set
Right.
up by the US Constitution. They took us off the
Yeah.
gold standard back in 1933, and the Nixon administration finished that in 1971. There's no real money anymore.
Yeah.
It's all funny money. It's all just a big credit and debit ledger. Everything's debt. Everything runs on debt these days.
Wow.
So there's no actual money in an account that you can access. They just use it to create more debt and to basically pay their bills.
Mm.
uh, so the thing is, when you do present something to them in the proper way to discharge, like let's say a student loan, a federal student loan, you can do this. Um, they don't actually send a check or pay anybody anything. They just do an accounting adjustment in the ledger, and the debt disappears.
Wow.
Okay, so it can be done for quite a number of different things. Student
Mm.
loans being chief among that. You can do it with credit card debt,
Oh,
and
really?
quite a number of other things too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Of course, credit card debt and student loans are two of the major debts that the average person, probably would have. So wow, that's interesting to know that. And it's funny, like you said, this world runs on debt, and it seemed like that's what the enemy, that's part of his system is, part of his slavery system is keeping people in debt.
Yeah, yeah. Other things that can be discharged are IRS debt,
Mm.
um, sometimes hospital bills,
Hmm.
maybe child support debts.
Hmm.
And that's kind of a sticky situation in some cases that would have to be looked at. But some third party debt collectors can be dealt with. Um, Also, you can discharge court cases
Hmm.
and previous things on your record, um, the so called debts that we pay to society.
Right, right.
Because the court system is a whole nother monster. That's
Yeah,
that's all commercial corporations now too. That
yeah.
is not court of law anymore. They're all for-profit businesses. Any court you go into.
Hmm.
Um, And then when you're up on charges, they're literally charging you and they trick you into standing under their jurisdiction and authority.
Hmm.
Um, and you end up having to pay their debts. And boy, that's another whole thing to talk about sometime. But
Wow.
those things can be discharged also.
Yeah. So what is the process of becoming, I guess, a state sovereign? How long does that take, I should say? Because at the in a minute, I want people to be able to get your information, so they could be able to find the help that they need, and
Sure,
and,
sure.
yeah.
Well, there's a lot of information. One thing you can do is go to my website, which is unalienable.online. I have a page called Freedom Info Pack. Okay. And if you go on there, there's also a couple blog articles at the bottom. And one is about this straw man issue and the birth certificate, and you can read about that there. But I have put together a package of information that you can order if you like. Because I've gone through a lot of information in the past, 8, 9, 10 years.
Mhm.
Been to lots of seminars. I purchased lots of books, found lots of things online, and I put it all together, including this whole process of becoming secured party creditor. Most of that is in there too. Um, I'd be happy to get that out to someone. I do ask that you pay $69.95 for that. I
Mhm.
spent literally, well, at least a few $1,000s for all of it. If you
Wow.
want to, you can get all of that and read through it, find out what you want there.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd be glad to correspond uh, through email and even on the phone with somebody to find out what you're thinking, what you want to do, who you are, and kind of consult with you a little bit to point you in the right direction to one of the couple of places that I know who can really help you do one of these processes.
Wow. This is good. Very, very good information. Well, I know personally, I'm definitely going to be having some more, uh, conversations with you about that, and see if you can help, me and my wife out with this process, because I think it's important for all of us. I think eventually, we all need to get back to our God-given unalienable rights, and we all need to become sovereign, even as our Father is sovereign,
Mm.
and be in position um, to just totally focus on what we need to do in this world, in the kingdom of God, and outside of this world system. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important. So please, guys, definitely reach out to Pastor Brian, and we're going to have more conversations on these type of subjects. So um, I think next time we'll get some questions in on the comments, and if anybody has any questions. Matter of fact, if you guys got any questions, you can post them here, And if we don't touch on it tonight, because we're going to get ready to end soon, after I have Pastor Brian back again, we can talk about those questions as well.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be glad to. You can write to me, email at unalienable@mail.com. So unalienable@mail.com. Or go to the website, contact me through there. You can also leave comments on one of my videos on the YouTube channel. And I have these videos up on other places too. I list most of those in the comments or in the description of the videos. I'm on BitChute again now, on
Okay.
UgeTube, UGE
Right.
up on Rumble and an Odyssey, because as you know, these channels get shut down pretty quickly if you say
Yeah.
too many of the right and correct things that they don't
Yeah.
like. Um,
Well,
so you can find me in different ways. But again, unalienable.online is the website. Unalienable@mail.com is the email.
good stuff. Yeah. And this video will be going up on my Rumble channel and on Pastor Brian's, because I'm going to be sending you this video as well, Pastor Brian, to put on your pages, so we can keep everybody being able to see this information. So this is good, man. I really appreciate you coming on tonight. I know it was last minute. Next time I'll let you know a little early, but you were right on it, man. I sent you the link. You were able to come on, and my apologies too for the computer stuff. I had to hop on my phone. My computer was running a little slow. I think it's time to get a new one. But I'm glad we were able to do um, this informational interview tonight and in
Right,
conversation.
right.
You know,
Well,
um,
I've got your channel up on another YouTube channel that I set up a while ago and was trying to get like-minded people a part of. I set up an Unalienable Rights super channel,
oh, that's right.
um, that I was trying to get a number of people together on about a year or so ago. And
Yeah.
some of us kind of splintered and went different ways, but it's still there.
Oh, okay.
Um, and you can search that under on YouTube, Unalienable Rights Super Channel. There's
Okay.
kind of several of us, and I was going to try to get that reorganized again here soon.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, let's definitely collab on that. I would love to get some videos and stuff on there, and we could do something together. How's Pepper Patah doing?
Oh, he's good. He's good. Yeah. We just recently did that program on 9/11.
Okay.
We've
Nice.
got some ideas about some more things to talk about. One of the other big things that we've been hitting on recently is land. Um, we
Uh,
did a program on land and what rights you have and do not have there with
mm,
land, property, real estate.
uh-huh.
Some people are interested in getting their land patent, trying to keep the land in the family because the government thinks they own all of that too.
Yeah.
And
And
there
people
there
think the
are
government really owns all of it.
yeah, and
Flat out.
there are ways that you can get a land patent and take control back of the property or the land that
Okay.
you own. Um, Not in all cases, but in many.
Okay.
So there's a program on my channel about that here recently too.
Okay. Yeah, would love to check that out and get all that information. But yeah, let's definitely continue this and keep it going. Um, yeah, so we're going to end for tonight. And thank you all for watching. I told you guys I would try to have a special guest on tonight, and it looks like we did. We
Yeah,
have good,
thanks. I loved it.
very
God bless
good.
everyone who's there.
Yes, yes, yes. So blessings. Let me give some shout outs. Susan, good to have you on. She enjoyed this tonight. And Sherry got some information out of it. Praise God. Thank you guys for watching. Jordan, thank you, Jordan, for being on. Of course, Jamie and many others um, who are watching. And this is good. We want to have more special guests and more live streams with, of course, Pastor Brian. and you'll see us doing some more, so we can keep you guys informed. And looking forward to seeing everyone become free, to receive knowledge, to receive truth, and to keep the faith, and to keep the hope as well. So we really thank you guys for
Amen.
watching, and we'll see you guys next Thursday, same time, 5:30, and who knows, we may have another special guest. We will see.
And I'll put this show up on my channel here soon too.
Good, good. Yeah, I'm going to send as soon as I end the show. I'm going to send this to you. All right.
All
All
right,
right.
sounds good.
All right. Good stuff. God bless you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.
Shalom to you.
All right.